Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. Haven't done one of these in a while. Gonna do a boss battle, whatever you want to call it, tips video. Um, so let's start off with the boss. You have a bonus of reinforce gem damages, 700%. Keep in mind that only works on the first break when the reinforces are there. Yellow 500, blue 500. Basically 5 times 5 times 7 times in a nutshell. So, my bad, Sean. I'll make sure Creed gets put back on when we're done recording. As you may have guessed, I'm live on Twitch on my Twitch channel. Feel free to come hang out. I'm happy to run all kinds of different stuff for you. Anyway, I think these are the best four you could run from a damage perspective in each style. I think Naya will be the best at chaotic. I think Asuka will be the best at showboat. Rhea the best at aggressive, and Maxine the best at focused. Now, that doesn't always mean they're the best one for you to use. Wait, what do you mean, Mherex? So, of course, if your faction wins on turn one, and your group wins on turn one, this would be like your ultimate damage. No reason to run anything different. If your team wins on turn one, you can completely ignore breakers. You can completely ignore everything, right? But that doesn't always happen. And in fact, this time, I think this is one that may sneak up on people once in a while. If they're thinking they're going to turn one and they miss it, then you have to break 125 green gems. That could be problematic because most of the people that are good damage for this boss do not also break green gems. Maxine the exception here, right? So I think Maxine is a very good focused one to run. But if you get to turn 3, you're going to need unfreeze. So hopefully your Maxine has unfreeze or someone else in your lobby does. Also, you can't leave your gems out. The boss is going to overwrite them with immobiles. That's going to screw your damage up. So there's that. If you're worried about the damage from the boss, you can bring neutralize, and it will remove the damage buff. The neutralize at rank 6, I believe, is more than high enough to remove the damage shield as it comes up. Shows up as a debuff on the right. So we'll go through each style real quick now that I've said the ones I think are the best. So the best shield breaker by far is actually Naomi in focused. Green shield, you just spam the finisher repeatedly. The whole board full of greens. She'll be able to take the shield down herself in one turn. So really, really good. Let's see. Charlotte will be really good. That's who I'm going to bring. You can see I have max unfreeze on her. No plates in this boss. Keep that in mind. It's another steel cage. Yay, we're all excited. So don't count on your plates. So those gem chucking green plates aren't going to help. So Charlotte, obviously this way, with this moveset, I don't need to tell you guys how to run her. Lawler, Razar, and then, whatever you need there. Best way to go. She'll break a bunch of greens. That's who I'm going to bring, because she has my max unfreeze, so it's kind of a twofer. Kairi be okay for blue damage, but without the plates and her moments, it's not nearly as exciting. Sherry can help with the green shield, triple green. That's hilarious, Chris. I've been doing this a long time. Triple green Sherry. Pretty decent for green shield. Not amazing, but okay, right? If you need an option and you happen to have taken her gold, that's there. Do I really like anyone else here in this slot? Not so much, right? I mean, you want to bring somebody useful if possible. So if you don't have one of these three, just bring whoever you have with the max unfreeze. The unfreeze itself is helpful if your team doesn't win turn 1 or turn 2, right? And that's how I try and look at boss. You can beat a boss a bunch of times without an optimal group. In fact, you give yourself something like a green breaker on this and an unfreeze, and most teams can probably manage to beat this boss. It might not be fast, but you'll get there. Aggressive spot. The one thing I hate about Rhea, well, she's going to probably be the best damage, is this is not recycling for poo. Because it makes blues, so you're one and done, so then you're basically zero help. So I actually don't recommend using Rhea here at all. Well, she's good damage. You're going to be worthless after one shot unless you bring props or get lucky. No plates to help her reload. So actually, I hope I don't see any Rheas in my lobby. I think the play is May, simply because she can break green gems and has some usage there, right? So that's my preference there. is May over Rhea, even though Rhea is better damage. Anyone that makes a bunch of green gems you could potentially use. I don't think there is really anyone that makes a bunch in here. I think Becky might turn silences to green. So if you've messed around with Becky because you like Becky and have her gold, yeah, 20 silence gems into green. You could use her for the shield. Not going to be great, but there's a shield option, right? Yeah, kind of stinky otherwise. So moving on to Chaotic. Chaotic is really, 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 really not good. I think Naya is your best bet. I would run her this way. Black MP, chuck your, your color turns, your multiplies, and then make them all blue. And, set her up like this with Lawler right here. So that's your Naya build. If you don't have Naya, like most people won't, I think EO is probably another good bet, since she makes a board full of blues with potentially a blue buff. You're going to have trouble getting back to the green, though. Keep that in mind because there are no plates for EO. So you will have trouble getting back to the green move. So not ideal at all. So yeah, that part is not ideal. The chaotic one's going to be rough. I don't know if anyone she can do some yellows, right? Does anyone else do a passel of green in here? I don't. That you might have leveled. I don't really think so. So I think chaotic's going to be a rough one. For the style for this one, extra time is always useful. Honestly, you for this boss, you probably shouldn't need the neutralize, but if you do, if you're winning slowly and you don't have healing, then neutralize will be clutch. You can see Chelsea has it at 6 for me. So go ahead and bring your neutralize, but its time is also always a really, really useful perk. Getting like 5, like when it's maxed out, close to 10, 12 extra seconds every boss is huge. What's up, Vikes? How you doing? Is quite huge. Helps a ton. And always comes in like really, really clutch. So, but don't stress too much at the chaotic spot. It's just going to be a really, really rough slot to fill for everybody. So it is what it is. Asuka's the big carry, to be honest. For sure, Showboat Asuka's the big carry in my opinion. She should be able to get close to 1 billion with a crazy good setup. No, maybe a little bit less though. It's hard to say because there's no plates in action, so potentially a little bit less. Um, just set up all your yellow damage and then reinforce Yoko here. I would just click these 2 moves over and over and over again, and over. Crimson and Clover. If you don't have Asuka, there's some really great options in defensive. In fact, pretty much all of the great options are in defensive. Indy can actually recycle, and she'll probably go for like 600 million-ish with a really good setup. Lyra can hit really hard with blues, but do keep in mind you don't get any plates, and Lyra really benefits from some of those big plates, so she won't hit as hard as you're used to. Of course, there's Liv here, who's pretty good. And then, we got this one in particular. Everyone has, if you want a little tip here that helps a ton for yellows, what you do is load up, if you have the jug trainers and coaches, absolutely use them. But basically, you get your jugs out, you swipe twice, and you get the bigger percentage buff at the end. And from there on out, you just spam this. You don't repeat any other moves. You don't use them. You stay buffed the entire boss, and you just click one button over and over while you're spamming those 400%. If you have Goldberg, 600%. And if you have Goldberg and Seth, 800% buffed yellow gems over and over and over. So, there's that, right? It's that Sandman. Let me take a look at Asuka. Seth freaking Rollins adds a Juggernaut Vikes. A lot of people won't have him. Sandman says, so the boss isn't going to be a striker. Sandman right now is a striker, but it won't be. But that's a good point. If Dom is not going to be the boss, if the boss was, you could get an extra 250% damage from the blue on the countdowns. Very good point. Boss won't be Zombie Dom or Dominic there. He's a placeholder. Pretty sure the boss is going to be a specific class that I'm not allowed to say right now. But by the time you see this, I might have been allowed to say it. But that is a good point. If it does stay a striker for some reason, absolutely you could use the blue move. Yep, for sure. So I think those are really your best bets. Your damage on your team should come from the defensive slot, right? When you're running defensive, hopefully you can do damage. Bring your heals, because the boss is going to do some big damage. A couple Oscars can probably carry. If you can't win on turn 1, though, you're going to need a green shield breaker. Maxine is great because she does damage and can break the shield, but Naomi is better. And I think shield breaking is going to be a premium if your faction and your group isn't one that can do a lot of carries. You're going to need to get that shield down, so bring a green spammer like Naomi. This should be your damage slot. This slot's just going to be rough for everybody, so try to bring some useful breakers. No, you don't need the Tiffany moment. No, Naomi's not doing damage on this boss. She's literally just spamming the finisher to break the shield. She's not doing big damage, right? There's no boosts that are going to help her. You're just bringing her for the shield. This boss is just reinforced yellow and blue. So it's mainly an Oscar boss. So, to be honest, and everyone in defensive as well. You could also use Tiffany, I suppose. She won't have plates. She won't hit super hard. She'll have blues. You could also potentially use some new Liv. She's okay. Mherex does make reinforces, but at the defensive slot, there's no way Mherex is going to be up to par with the other ones, I don't think. Maybe if you have all her gears, potentially, I guess. If she wasn't defensive, I would like her a lot better. She does make reinforces into blue, so it's not the worst shout. For sure. And if the opponent stayed a striker, it looks better as well, because you'd get a yellow gem damage increase, which actually, never mind, that doesn't help because she makes the reinforces blue. I remember that. That was just really weird. Yeah, she's at the premium slot. Good suggestion, though, because she does make a bunch of reinforces. Too bad she's not chaotic. Molly is the free one I would use for sure. Molly's will hit much harder, easier. Once you get those juggernauts down and swiped, then you're just off to the races and running. And it's going to be easy money. Easy money. Liv, same sort of thing as Molly. You're just two-clicking the two buffs, you know, the buff and the random chuck, buff chuck, you know. Beef chuck, right? So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the boss. Again, like, you can win with a bunch of different combos. I mean, you could easily win with something as pedestrian as this. You could, you know, as long as you got one person that can deal some damage. Boss isn't healing, as I recall. Not healing at all. So, and if he hits hard, you know, May's got her aggressive maxed. I can just hit the aggressive. And Chelsea's going to neutralize it. You're not going to take much damage. And then if, you know, somebody has a heal here, shield breakers here, something like this could win all day. Doesn't really need to be great even. You'd win with this too even. You don't need necessarily super duper premium as long as you got somebody that can break the shield down. You could easily win with something like that. Just might not be fast. You could win with that. Just make sure you have unfreeze, a green shield breaker, some heals, and you can go. If your faction or your group isn't somebody that can just brute force it. Also, when it comes to boss, Asuka's way better, Copperhead. Asuka's way better for this boss. It's not close. Asuka's by far the best damage for this boss. It's not close. I'm just giving people some alternatives. Just when it comes to boss, remember, do something. Don't be that guy that comes to boss and literally does nothing. You show up without trainers equipped, strap equipped. If you're in my faction, I will kick you out of the group. Won't let you run. Don't be lazy and a mooch. Try to bring something somewhat useful, right? There's zero reason to not. And take some responsibility for yourselves, guys. Put about 5 to 10 minutes of thought into who you're going to run for boss, and don't be a child that's a mental burden to your faction people that are busting their butts for you, right? But yeah, I think that's what I have for this boss, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's a decent boss. Remember, plates don't work. And Dom is almost for sure not going to be the boss, but I do think that would be funny and cool. So if he is, then you can use that blue move that Sand was talking about, which is a good yeah, should be Jabroni. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. Ooh, been a while since I've done one of those. It was rough, but it should work. Have fun, guys. Yeah.